I think this means we're really starting.
The guitar solo is incredible, by the way. Just pointing that out.
Does this mean we're really starting?
Where's the
I guess
pot?
it does. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a power ranking show. It's a power rankings podcast. Actually, can we just get the? Are you able to just play that keyboard part one more time, Courtney? Just there at the back end. No. I guess that's a no.
Listen, it's so good.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think we should just have it in the background as we're talking
Yes.
about our picks. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. So we always play our intro music, and usually Courtney at Brinks will play just to make sure that it's all queued up before we start. And she didn't do that this time. And so I saw myself flash and I go, okay, I guess this means we're starting. So you guys are all in on it. Welcome. We are sponsored by Cinnamon Life. They love the fact that I dogged out their competitor yesterday. So they called me. That didn't happen. Actually, we're not sponsored by anyone except a candle that Marcus apparently likes. So let me introduce my
Yankee
co-host.
Candle.
Yeah.
Oops. It's the best one. This is the Christmas cookie one that I just bought at Walmart. $18. Great value. Check out yankeecandle.com.
Awesome. And you can check out Marcus's work on Locked On Cowboys, the host of the most successful Cowboys podcast out there. He's also on Twitter at Marcus Mosher. I am at Harrison NFL. We are picking games. We're picking week 11 games. We've got a lot to get to. I will, just as a teaser, we do kind of I call it our free-flowing Friday podcast. Mm-hmm. And we talk about any manner of subjects. And I've asked you guys, if you want us to talk about something, especially if you leave us a rating of some sort, we'll talk about what you would like to. I've gotten one request for top 10 Super Bowls of all time. One of my friends, actually, that a friend that also listens to the show, wanted me to talk about the greatest teams to never make it, even as far as the Super Bowl. I thought that was a good topic. But for this week, Marcus had some really interesting, I guess, would you rathers for how to build a team regarding franchise quarterback and your draft. Is that the right way to say it, Marcus?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Would
Sounds
you
like
rather?
such a teen girl thing to say. Would you rather? But yeah, go ahead.
Yes. We're also going to review 13 going on 30 with Jennifer Garner. Okay, we're not. I actually haven't seen all of that. Marcus has. Yes. And then a couple other things. I'm going to go through the curse of Bobby Lane. It's something you've heard a lot on broadcasts about the Lions. I wanted to talk about that. And then the last thing is a wonderful little thing in the analytics world, the battle between play-by-play announcers and analytics. If you haven't seen any of this, it's really so much fun to just be an observer. It's like standing around watching people play Dungeons and Dragons and get really upset about it. So that's for that podcast. As for this one, we're going to start picking games. We're going to do it right now. Marcus will introduce the games, starting with a kind of interesting Thursday night game. It's not an awful game.
No.
How's that for a sales tool?
Yeah, not awful. It's the New England Patriots against the Atlanta Falcons. The Patriots are 6.5-point road favorites in this one. Cordero Patterson seems like he's going to be questionable at best in this game. The Damian Harris is going to play in this one, but who do you like here, Elliot?
Oh boy. It's hard to go against New England's defense right now. For me, with Cordero Patterson banged up, I don't like Atlanta's offense. Without him, they weren't good last week. I want to say this though, Marcus, what did you say the spread was? 6.5.
Yep.
It's a little high for a road team, but they're saying
on a short week.
I think it is.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
I would probably stay away from that. Obviously, straight up, I like New England in this game. What's our over under on this one?
I believe it's pretty low. I'll pull it up right now. But just as we're talking about this game, I actually really like New England. Their defense is playing well. The offense has been better every single week. 47.5, by the way, which feels a little high. I think this is going to be a 24-17 type of game.
I was going to say 24-20 Patriots. I think you're going to see a bounce back, though, from Arthur Smith's Falcons this week. I do. After a game like they had, Marcus, I think a lot of head coaches, they want their team to learn something from it. But when it's this bad, it's almost like, let's just throw the game film in the wastebasket and move on, especially on a short week. I can't imagine the Falcons players and staff spent a lot of time in meetings going over what went wrong in Dallas. You throw it away, you live to play another day. Let's go on to the next one.
Colts and Bills. The Colts are 7-point underdogs on the road. They've got a few injuries of note. Quentin Nelson's banged up. Darius Leonard banged up. I think both of those guys are going to play, but they both came out of the game early in week 10. We'll see on their status. But who do you like in this one?
Oh, boy. Colts getting 7 points there.
It's a lot, isn't it? Because then you got to win by 2 scores if you're Buffalo to cover that spread. And I'm not sure they can. Like, the Colts defense is not bad at all. They've got a pretty good pass rush. They can certainly run the ball. This feels like a pretty close game to me.
I have no idea on what the over-under should be on this game. If I'm betting on this game, I'm betting on the Colts to cover. If I'm in a pick'em league, I'm betting on Buffalo to win it outright. The over-under on this game, I would imagine would probably be around, I'm going to say 49.5. Maybe Vegas 50
okay. Flat. Yep.
Yeah. I've said this before. I'll say it again. If you can guess the over-under, don't bet on it.
Yep.
What you want to be way off from what Vegas has. And if you have confidence in your own ability to pick it over under, then you go off of that. But when you're at the same point, don't do it.
Also, it's important to think about what you think the score is going to look like, because if you think this is going to be a 20-13 game, well, then, yeah, there's a lot of value on the under here. So kind of have an idea of what you think the game is going to be like, what the score is going to be like, and that's how you should bet the over-unders.
Yeah, so Marcus just basically said exactly what I did, but far more articulately. Guess the score, add the numbers, you got 33. You think the game's going to be 20-13.
No,
Vegas
Vegas
has got 50. There's a huge discrepancy in what you think, 33, and what Vegas thinks, 50. But if I'm saying I think the over-under is going to be 49.5, and Vegas is saying it's 50, then we're right in lockstep. I don't like my chances there. I'm not going to gamble on it. So I would gamble the Colts to cover this. Buffalo straight up. Do you any disagreement there?
Nope, I agree. Let's move on.
Okay.
Next one, Ravens and Bears. The Ravens are 6-point road favorites. This one's interesting because Baltimore has not run the ball particularly well the last couple of weeks. The defense still isn't very good. They lost another important piece of the defense this week, Derek Wolfe, going on the injured reserve list. Who do you like in this one?
You know, and one thing about that, when you talk about defensive linemen and people will look at their stats, right? And they'll say, oh, the guy only has 3 sacks or only has 1.5 sacks. A lot of what happens with a defensive lineman is about keeping a healthy rotation. And even though a guy may not be having a great year, if he can play 25 snaps, then it allows your studs and your older players, take an older lineman like Calais Campbell, to be able to play less snaps. But when you've got a guy like this going out, it can actually really hurt, especially if you have 2 of them out. We've seen that with Dallas, obviously this year, and a couple other teams. This is a really hard game to pick. I think this is going to be an ugly, low-scoring game. Am I off?
No, I think you're right. I would stay away from picking, a team. I think the Ravens will probably win, but I wouldn't bet a lot on it. I think the Bears are going to cover the spread. They're coming off a bye. They actually looked really good against the Steelers in the second half in week 9. They should have beaten them if it wasn't for 5 bad calls going against them. I think Khalil Mack might be back in the lineup. Eddie Jackson might be back. I think they've got the chance to upset the Ravens at home in this one.
But you want to stay away anyway.
Yeah, so I love the 6 points here, though, because the Ravens have won or lost 5 games by 3 points or less this season. They play in just a bunch of close games.
Well, you sure you want to stay away then? Why not go with the Bears?
Because I still believe Baltimore's the better team with the better quarterback and the better coach. I just think 6 points is too many.
Okay, I like Baltimore in this game. I'm with you. I think the Bears cover that. The over-under on this game better be awfully low because I'm thinking 2017, maybe. I'm going to guess that Vegas has got it at 42.
45.
That's too high. I'll bet the under. I know you hate the unders. I'll take the under on this.
I will say these are 2 teams with historically good defenses, right? Like they've always relied on their defenses and the rushing attacks. The Ravens can't run the ball. They're 23rd in points per game allowed on defense. The Bears are 24th in points per game on defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get some more scoring in this game, especially with Justin Fields and Lamar running.
One more thing on this. So Marcus and I were trying to look it up. He beat me to the punch. If any quarterback in the modern era, any game featured two quarterbacks rushing for 100 yards in a game, and I told him I didn't think it had ever happened. I couldn't remember it with Lamar Jackson. I couldn't remember it with Michael Vick. And so, Marcus, you looked it up. And what was the most that two quarterbacks in the same game ran? It was 1972, correct?
Yes. Do you remember who the quarterbacks were?
Yeah, it was. I think you said Bobby Douglas and Greg Landry. That would have been Bears, Lions.
175 total rushing yards between them.
That's a ton. Just a funny note on that. So the Lions, so Greg Landry was the Lions' last Pro Bowl quarterback before Matt Stafford. That's how long the Lions went. And I don't remember what year Landry made the Pro Bowl. I want to say it was 70, or 70, it may have been 72. And they went all that time, 40 years before they had another Pro Bowl quarterback. But Bobby Douglas that year, if you click on him, Marcus, he rushed for 968 yards that year. That's who Michael Vick, your hero. You loved Michael Vick, right? And I mean, he wasn't your favorite player.
I've got a jersey.
Not your
I got
hero,
a jersey on the wall right here of Michael Vick. He's one of my favorite players of all time. Yes.
Okay. So that's who he beat in terms of rushing yards in the season. But Bobby Douglas didn't even throw for 2,000 yards that year.
Yeah.
He threw for a little over 1,000. What was his final passing numbers that year?
In 72, it was 1,200 yards. He completed 37% of his passes.
How about that? 968 yards rushing. By the way, that's in 14 games. The dude was a tailback in a quarterback's body. Also, I think he was a lefty.
He was a lefty.
Well,
yeah.
Bobby Douglas. Steve Young and Bobby Douglas, lefties that were like tailbacks early in their career. Okay, next game.
Isn't it funny, though, he got drafted by the Bears and played football? It's topical, right?
Yes.
All right. Next game. I missed it here. We've got the Lions and the Browns. The Lions on the road, 10-point underdogs in this game.
Ooh.
I will say, Jared Goff missed practice on Wednesday with an oblique injury. I'm not sure it matters. It might actually help the Lions a little bit if he doesn't play this week. Sorry, Jared Goff. But
come on, man. Come on. That's harsh.
Elliot, if they ran the wishbone just with Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, do they score more points than what they did last week? Because the answer is probably yes, right?
I don't know, but I just love the query. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. So let me ask you this. Is there any circumstance in which you would take Detroit?
No.
There's nothing, because I know you haven't been big on Baker Mayfield this year at all.
No.
And he's playing really banged up. I think everyone's been a little too hard on him, but I don't know, maybe Baker throws a couple of picks in this game and no, you're still not feeling it.
No, because the teams that I think the Lions can give trouble or, can maybe beat or get close to beating are teams with bad offensive lines and bad defensive lines, because that's actually their strength. That's not the case here with Cleveland. I just think they're going to be able to run the ball in Detroit all game long.
Yeah, the Lions are 30th in rush defense. I actually think the Browns are going to cover this. I like the Browns to win this game, obviously outright, if I'm saying that they're going to cover it.
All right, another double-digit spread. The Texans and the Titans. Texans on the road, coming off a bye, 10-point underdogs in this one.
Here's what I'm leery of in this game, and this is Courtney. Can I get the big red graphic coming on in? Yes, stay away. Now I get it. Tennessee's been playing really good football. Houston looked awful the last time we saw them, but Marcus, I think Tyrod Taylor is an athlete with a lot of pride. The last game that he played for Houston, he was awful. Remember, that was the game where it was so bad, you said even I didn't watch it, and I had to circle back.
Yeah.
So Tennessee has done a great job. I do think they've played a little over their head, given what they've been dealing with without Derrick Henry. I am loath to pick Tennessee with this biggest spread.
All right, Courtney, give us the green graphic. Are you ready? Give us the green one. The green one. Or the blue one.
The green
blue.
Oh, okay.
It's a lock of the week. It's a lock. Boy. I love the Texans here at +10.
Oh, you love the Texans? Okay, great. I thought you were going to say you love the Titans. I was like,
no, okay. I love the Texans here for a couple different reasons. Divisional games are weird. Like we see this all the time. Is these games end up being way closer than what you think. Texans coming off a bye. Tyrod Taylor gets an extra week to get ready. And as good as the Titans have been on defense over the last couple of weeks, the offense is not great. It's just not. They're not all that explosive. For the Titans to cover this spread, they've got to win by basically 2 touchdowns. I think there's a lot of backdoor cover potential. I know you like it when I say that, Elliot. I'm taking the Texans to stay within 10 points.
I don't know what you mean by that last sentence, but I could do without your high level gambly gooky.
Can I just say what backdoor cover means?
Yeah.
Just really quickly.
Please.
It means like if a team is down by 17 points and they score a late garbage time touchdown.
Garbage time. I call that a Dwayne Bowe, Carson Palmer with the Raiders memorial touchdown. Remember when Dwayne Bowe was awesome in fantasy because the Chiefs were down 30-10?
Yes.
Yeah. So Courtney doesn't look happy with you.
We can move on. We can move on.
Yeah.
Packers, Vikings. Packers, 2.5-point road favorites.
Ooh, I like the Pack here. By the way, one last note on Houston, Tennessee. I don't even care about the over-under because I have no idea if that's going to be a high or low-scoring game. That's why I had stay away from every front. Okay.
44.5. Yep.
Yeah, I could care less. I don't want anything to do with that game. Okay, Minnesota. And, of course, I'll end up watching all of that one, Marcus,
you will.
And not like this one, which is a good one. Obviously, these teams have been going at it a really long time since the Vikings came to the league in 1961. It's another one of those weird division games. It's at Minnesota, but it's 2.5, right?
Yep.
Green Bay wins by 3. There you go.
All right, give me the blue graphic again. It's another lock. I don't understand why Green Bay is not at least a field goal favorite in this one. Rodgers has traditionally and historically played pretty well against Minnesota. The Vikings are coming off a big win. I could see a letdown in this one. I've got the Packers to win.
I've been so busy trying to tuck my mullet in my jacket again that I missed some of your amazing analysis.
Packers good. Going to win. There you go.
I know. I could have repeated I knew exactly what you were going to say on this game. I will admit you shocked me on Houston. I'm so impressed with the way Green Bay's played. I'm impressed with the way their secondary has played. I will say, man, Minnesota's receivers really look like Minnesota's receivers last week. Yeah. You know what I mean? Adam Thielen, good. Justin Jefferson. Man, when they got it going, they're as good as any duo in the NFL. And I think you and I have been a little off because when we've talked about great duos, we talked about the Rams with Kupp and Woods, obviously before Woods got hurt. We talked about the Cowboys with Amari and CD, and we talked about the Bucks with Evans and Godwin. I don't remember us mentioning Jefferson and Thielen when we did that. Thielen might be as good in the red zone as anybody.
I agree with you.
Love that group. Next game.
This is the Harrison special. It is the Miami Dolphins against the New York Jets. We've got Joe Flacco starting for the Jets this week. The Dolphins are 3-point road favorites.
You think that's a mistake?
For who?
For
watching this game.
If it wasn't a division game, I'd say the whole schedule was a mistake.
Yeah,
on this. But I'm talking about Joe Flacco playing for the Jets.
Oh, 100%. You got to figure out if Zach Wilson's the guy, right? Like, you got to figure it out sooner rather than later. What are we doing trying to win with Joe Flacco? Like, is the goal to get 5 wins this year, Robert Saleh? Of course not. It's to develop Zach Wilson in the offense, because if he's not good, you're not going to have a job. So,
but is Zach Wilson ready?
I don't know if it matters. He's got to play. It's just the way it is in the NFL today. Like, you've got to show within the first 2 years you can play, or otherwise you'll be gone. Like we saw with Josh Rosen, like we're maybe seeing with Tua already. He's got to play.
Okay, so we've got Dolphins 3-point favorites here on the road. A little bit of confidence from Vegas coming off that game. And also, if the Dolphins are a 3-point favorite, as you like to say, you typically look at a home team as an automatic 3-point favorite. So what Vegas is really saying is Miami is better by 6 points. Do you believe that?
I do. I think we're finally starting to see the Dolphins defense that we saw last year. I think the game against the Ravens might turn their season around a little bit. They're not a playoff team, but could they be somebody that wins, I don't know, like 5 of their last 8 games? I could see it.
This is another difficult game for over-under because the Jets defense has been so awful. They've given up so many points that I would be inclined initially to say this is going to be a really low-scoring game, man. I'm thinking like 39 total points. But then when you consider how bad the Jets defense has been, and other than the Ravens game, how disappointing the Dolphins defense has been, I imagine Vegas does have the over-under a little bit higher on this game. I'm going to go with Flacco starting, though. I'm only going to go to about 45.5, 46.5.
45 is exactly right. So pretty low. Pretty low.
Okay. I'm thinking I'm staying away from this game all the way, but I'll go Miami straight up.
You're staying away from a betting perspective, but I know you.
Yes.
You're going to watch a ton of this game. I just know you.
It really is a problem. It is.
Oh,
it's a problem I have.
It's our nation's second biggest pandemic. All right, next one. It's the Saints and the Eagles. This one is interesting to me. The Saints are 1.5 point road underdogs in this game.
Ooh, another tough. Philadelphia, if you haven't been paying attention, they have played a lot better football since getting blown out by the Raiders a few weeks back. But I agreed with you on our Tuesday pod. I had New Orleans ranked 19th. You said you thought they should be closer to 12. And after considering it, I actually deferred to you on that. I think you were right. It's a healthy criticism of my rankings. And I'm Trevor Simeon's agent. So all those things considered, I kind of feel like this game should be a straight line.
I agree. It should be straight up. Now, some injury stuff that we need to update the people on. So Alvin Kamara did not play last week. He was limited in practice on Wednesday, which is a pretty good sign that he'll be back playing, right? Mm-hmm. The bigger concerns are offensive tackles. Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk both suffered some injuries last week. Both did not practice on Wednesday. I think the team is going to list them as questionable. I wouldn't be surprised if both of those guys were out on Sunday. That's a problem against Philly.
You bet. Against their defensive front. We talked on the Tuesday pod about the Teddy Bridgewater play, which everyone was talking about, where Darius Slay returned it for a touchdown, the fumble. But the real key to me of that game was it was a key fourth down and short, and the Eagles front stonewalled them. And we've talked a lot on this pod about winning at the line of scrimmage. Philadelphia has been doing that as of late. I'm inclined to take Philadelphia straight up in this game.
I agree with you. I think they're going to win. Home game. Saints usually don't play well outdoors, although that's changed a little bit over the last couple of years. I kind of like the way the Eagles are playing. I think I'm taking Philly as well.
I think this is another low-scoring game too, Marcus. This is not an over-under that should be at 50 or higher. You're smirking.
It's low. It's low.
Okay,
though.
It should be. How low is it?
43.5.
Too low. That's too low. I mean, it may happen, but not. It's not in a range where I would be willing to bet on it low. So
that's fair. All right, next one.
Okay.
Washington and the Carolina Panthers. Cam starting at quarterback for the Panthers. A little Ron Rivera revenge game, right? Washington 3.5 point road underdogs.
Yeah, this is interesting. Cam Newton obviously spent the better part of his career with Ron Rivera. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this game, not only from that angle, but the fact that Washington upset Tampa Bay last week on the strength of their defense and a really, I guess you'd say, a classic ball control offense.
Sure.
But then what is Cam Newton, right? What is he at this stage of his career? Are the Panthers, whether we think they're great or not, Marcus, they're right in the thick of that wild card race. They are one of the teams. I see the look on your face. You're not buying that.
No, I'm buying it that they are. It's just, I don't, man, the 6 and 7 seed in the NFC are going to be so bad. It's going to be awful.
It looks that way. It's almost like they're going to be sacrificial lambs for, either the Bucs or the Cardinals or the Packers or the Cowboys. I'm inclined with Washington's losing Chase Young to take Carolina at home. I don't really love the line here, though. I'd be inclined to say Carolina by 3. 3.5 is always a really tricky line.
Because if Washington can keep this game within a field goal, they're going to cover. That's why I like Washington in this one. I think these two teams are very similar. I'm not sure which quarterback I trust more at this stage. I think I'll take Washington in the points.
Yeah, this is another game that I think is a low over-under game. I could see this being an overtime, 23-20. The over-under on this better be, even with Chase Young being out, I just don't see Cam putting up a lot of points. I don't see Taylor Heineke putting up a ton of points. I'm going to go 46.5 on this.
43 even.
Wow. So have you noticed Vegas has really come down on their over-unders? Like they usually don't have this many low.
It's because the unders have been crushing the last couple of weeks. I think if you just bet the under over the last 2 or 3 weeks, you'd have Elliott Harrison money right now. So.
Oh boy. All right. What's next?
Next game. 49ers and the Jaguars. The 49ers are 6.5-point road favorites. Elliot, before you pick the game, I want to read you the 49ers schedule the rest of the way, because I think this is a wild card team. After they played the Rams last week, they play the Jaguars. They host the Vikings, at Seattle, at the Bengals, home against the Falcons, at the Titans, home against the Texans, at the Rams. I think they can get to 10 wins.
Yeah, I was going to say there's probably 2 losses in there. Even if they don't get to 10 wins, Marcus, 9 wins will be enough.
9-8 probably get you in the playoffs. And that's,
they're not.
I will say, we're Cowboy fans, right? That's a team that would make me nervous if the Cowboys played them in the wild card round of the playoffs, right? A team that could really run the ball and get pressure with the front 4. I could see them causing some problems in the playoffs.
Yeah, if play action's not working for Jimmy Garoppolo, though, that's the real deal here with San Francisco.
Play action always works. It's like Novocaine. Just give it time.
That was an odd comparison, but I'll take it.
You want to know the reason why I thought of it? Because I have I have a root canal tomorrow.
Man, that stinks.
It's already in my head, man. We talked about this pre-show. You weren't here.
You don't floss, do you?
Of course they floss. What are we talking about?
Yeah, but you probably don't. You're not like a once a day flosser. You're probably like every 3
No,
days
I got
flosser.
those little things on my desk. The little mini ones. You just
but you always have that app on your phone where you're checking like your brisket, and you're one of those guys. You get brisket in your teeth, and you go and you do Locked On Cowboys and other stuff.
Okay,
you forget about it. 6.5-point favorites at Jacksonville.
I'm taking the 49ers to cover that spread.
So you say 49ers by 7?
Yeah, I think they're going to win by. Yeah, I think they're going to win by double digits. Yeah.
You know what? I don't. I'm going to say stay away from this game. Period. Jacksonville's defense has played a lot better than you think, Ben. No. So there you go. 49ers to win straight up, however.
Speaking of brisket, our next game is the Cowboys and Chiefs, 2 places that have really, really good barbecue. The Cowboys are 2.5-point road favorites in this one. Is Kansas City or Texas barbecue better?
Well, I was just in Kansas City not too long ago, went to the World War I Museum, which I highly recommend. If you're ever in Kansas City, it's worth your time. They do have good barbecue in Kansas City, although I went to kind of a shishi joint, which is not what I wanted. But if you go to Lockhart, Texas, man, that's the barbecue capital of the world. Also, which should be noted, incredible history. But these 2 teams were both in Dallas at one time, and the city was only like 700,000 people. And in the early 60s, even that wasn't enough to support 2 teams. And so when Lamar Hunt, the owner of the Dallas Texans, as they were called, got a sweetheart deal from the mayor of Kansas City, he bolted for Kansas City. And the Cowboys were so eager for now Chiefs to leave town that the Cowboys said, hey, we'll take over your lease to your practice facility and your offices, which was like $100,000 in 1963. That's a ton of money. Yep. Right. And they said, we'll pay that for you. It's kind of like if you've ever had a horrible roommate and they owed you like, $1,800 and you're just out of college and you're like, I don't care. I don't care if I ever get the deposit back. I don't care that they, threw a tennis ball through the wall. I don't care. I'm just going to get them out of my apartment. So that's what happened. And also, this is the Miles Austin game. Do you remember in 2009? I think they played.
Of course I remember. They had the best jerseys on ever. It was their blue and white jerseys. He had a 200-yard game in overtime. Of course I remember.
Well, it was the most yards a wide receiver ever had in their first career start. It was either 250 or 260. But Kansas City wore their Dallas Texans uniforms for that game. It was totally awesome. So all that said, I like Kansas City in this game.
So do I. We can move on. We don't have to spend too much time on this one. We forgot a game. We need to go backwards a little bit. Bengals Raiders. I actually think this is a game that's going to be really fun and has a lot of significance to both of these teams, both coming off 2-game losing streaks. I like the Bengals here as 1-point road favorites.
So a writer, I'm a fan of his work, Jeff Pearlman, is doing a book on Bo Jackson. And I think he just tweeted, he sent it to his editor. This was the Bo Jackson game. Yeah. This is the game that Bo Jackson got hurt in the playoffs and was never able to play at least pro football again. He ended up playing for the then California Angels. As far as the current day Man, another tough game. You said the Bengals are 1-point underdogs.
Road favorites.
What road favorites in this game? Boy, the Bengals haven't played well lately. They are coming off a bye. The Raiders, they lost to the Giants. They got blown out by the Chiefs, although we both agree the score looked worse than that game really was. I don't love this matchup for the Raiders, but what I do like is the Raiders pass rush against Cincinnati's pass protection.
I also like the Raiders defensive backs in this game. Casey Hayward playing really well. Nate Hobbs is maybe the best slot corner in the NFL right now. I kind of like the Raiders in this spot. They absolutely need to win at home. I think they get it. Can we move on to the next one? Go ahead.
Yeah. Do you not want my pick?
I thought you did pick. I thought you picked the Bengals.
No, you were just zoning out. You were thinking about your next super gambling parlay that you want to lay down some knowledge.
No, I was thinking about the brisket and the smoker, but go ahead.
I'm going with you. I got the Raiders on this one. All right, next one.
An NFC West game, Cardinals and the Seahawks. Cardinals are 2.5-point road favorites.
This game is famous. I'm giving all this historical context for Drew Stanton celebrating on the sideline on Sunday Night Football and dancing. Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, not a great one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's talk injuries here with the Cardinals. Who's going to play, Marcus? Isn't that really the key here?
I would say that's baked into the line a little bit because if Kyler's playing, I'm guessing the spread's not going to stay at 2.5. I think it's going to be closer to 4.5, 5, because I don't think Seattle's a great team. Still don't know about DeAndre Hopkins. It's important to remember the Cardinals have a bye after this week. So I think they're going to be pretty cautious with some of their superstars. So my guess is they're not playing. And that's why I like Seattle to win this game at home.
I'm with you on this. Although I feel a lot more comfortable with your assessment if the Cardinals had won against Carolina. I'm not talking about quality of play. I'm just talking about standings. The issue here is there's only one bye week in the playoffs. And I guarantee the Cardinals have their eye on that. You do have to be a little bit careful about resting guys because, and maybe this went into the Cowboys calculus with Dak Prescott playing against the Broncos. So I am a little bit leery of that. But if I'm just having to, I'm not betting on this game. If I'm having to pick the game, though, I would pick Seattle in your pick'em league.
I would take Seattle, and I think Seattle's going to cover the spread. So our next game was our Sunday night game. It's the Steelers and Chargers. Talking about historical games. The Duck Hodges game when he played against the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Not really a good game. Steelers 5.5-point underdogs in this game. And Elliot, I'm going to go first in this one. Are you ready?
Yeah,
it's a lock of the week. This one's an easy one for me. I'm taking the Steelers plus 5.5. The Chargers are going to be without 3 defensive linemen, it looks like, all due to COVID. Joey Bosa, Christian Covington, and Jerry Tillery. Their cornerback room is decimated. I think the Steelers, who have Najee Harris and starting to run the ball better over the last couple of weeks, are going to be able to use the run, rely on the defense, and at the very least keep this within the field goal. I think they're going to win outright. So I'm taking the Steelers.
What about quarterback?
I don't think it matters. Not the position. I don't think who plays for the Steelers matters. I really don't. Okay. So for example, when the Seahawks went from Russell Wilson to Geno Smith, we saw a 7-point change in the line. When the Cowboys went from Dak Prescott to Cooper Rush, 7.5-point change. Rodgers to Love, 7-point change. Roethlisberger to Mason Rudolph, we saw a 1-point change. Vegas is telling you that the quarterback between Roethlisberger and Rudolph really doesn't matter too much.
The problem is when Ben Roethlisberger tested positive for COVID, how long that stays in your system, how long that you'll have a positive test. We don't know if he's going to play. Mason Rudolph was not exactly spectacular against the Lions, but that being said, the Chargers, their situation worries me a little bit.
Yep.
I'm going to pick the Chargers to win the game outright. I'm going to pick the Steelers to cover the spread. Can we get the over-under on this one?
We can. It's a pretty low over-under pretty high, 47.5.
I'm not feeling that either, man.
No, I'd stay away from that one.
Yeah. Stay away.
Right.
Okay.
Last game. Giants and Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. The Giants are 11-point road underdogs in this game.
Lee, that is a lot, man.
It's a lot of points.
So what they're banking on is Bruce Arians being pissed, aren't they? I mean,
and Tom Brady getting a little bit of revenge on the Giants, right?
Do you think that really?
Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
He's the most petty guy ever. Of course, he cares about that, right? He's going to want to put up 50 in this game.
You know what? This would be fun to just bet Tampa Bay to see if they can do it. Like I've been betting. We've already mentioned a lot of teams covering. We just talked about Pittsburgh, right?
Yep.
But 11 points is a lot, man. All it takes is a punt return or a fumble return by the Giants or a garbage time score. And the Giants have played better, Marcus. I know they're coming off a bye. You're picking Tampa Bay to cover here?
No, I'm taking the Giants to cover, right? I think the Giants are going to do the Jason Garrett thing, right? They're going to shorten the game as much as possible. Saquon Barkley is coming back. Tampa Bay has lost a lot of guys over the last couple of weeks. No Vita Vea this week, no Richard Sherman. I think they can play in a 30-20 game and cover the spread.
I was just about to say that I think Tampa Bay, betting on them would be fun, more fun. As you like to say, it's more fun to bet the over than the under, even if the under's. But I'm with you on this. Yeah. I think the Bucs win by 10. It's 11. Of course, this line could move before game time, but if it stays where it is right now, I'm with you. I like the Giants to cover, but man, I really want to go Tampa Bay.
Yeah. I don't have any good parlay picks for this week other than I would take the Steelers money line and the Chiefs money line. You can get some good value there, but that's about it. So let's go through the games, just our winners really quickly. To finish out the show. We both like the Patriots to win outright this week against the Falcons on Thursday Night Football. We both like the Bills over the Colts.
Yep.
I don't love the Ravens over the Bears. I think that's a stay away, but you like the Ravens. We both like the Browns over the Lions. We both like.
I like the Ravens to win that game. I don't like the Ravens to not to gamble on. No way. In fact, I would take the Bears there.
I agree. Browns over the Lions, Titans over the Texans, the Packers to win and cover against the Vikings, the Dolphins to win and cover against the Jets. We both like the Eagles to upset the Saints. To beat the Saints. The Saints are 1.5 point underdogs in this game. In Philly, Washington and Carolina. I like Washington to cover the spread. I think you like the Panthers to win outright.
Yes.
Okay. We both like the 49ers to beat Jacksonville. We like the Raiders, Bengals. I like the Raiders.
I like the Raiders. Yeah.
We both like the Chiefs over the Cowboys. We both like Seattle over the Cardinals. I like the Chargers to win. I like the Steelers to win outright over the Chargers. You like the Chargers to win, but the Steelers to cover.
Correct.
We both like Buccaneers to win, but the Giants to cover that spread.
I'm having a really hard time giving you a $10,000 bet for this week. Like absolute lock.
Packers are going to cover that spread. I have absolutely no doubt. There's too much on the line for Green Bay to slip up here. They win this game, they're the number one seed in the NFC. We know how much that's going to matter to Rodgers playing in Lambeau. They can't slip up here.
But I thought that your lock of the week was actually Houston covering at Tennessee.
I'm saying if we're making this is one of my locks. This is the one I would pick. If you had $10,000 and you needed to make some money, it's Green Bay to beat Minnesota.
How about San Francisco at Jacksonville?
That's a good one as well.
How confident are you there? The problem is Jacksonville's defense has been playing pretty well. That's what I'm telling you.
That's fine. I would be fine with either of those ones. You can put them both on my record. I'll own it.
New England at Atlanta, the spread on that game. You'd use DraftKings this week, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same at most spots. I'm looking at it now. DraftKings actually has it at 7. FanDuel has it at 6.5. BetRivers 6.5. So shop around for the best line.
Man, could you do that one as your $10,000?
No,
it's so hard to do that on Thursday night.
I will never, ever, ever bet a Thursday night game because it's just too random.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what I got. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
I got Indianapolis to cover at Buffalo.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Feels like a good bet. 7's a lot of points. So you're only losing that bet if they lose by 10, basically 2 scores. I don't see that.
If they lose by 7.5.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. I know. Look, that was a dad joke. Such a dad joke. I'm kind of with you on Green Bay. I'm really split. Usually I have one that I'm pretty sure on. This week was a little harder. Of course, I never know the lines until Marcus gives them to me because He likes for me to be surprised and have to go off the cuff. And I would really think about some of these games this week, though. I think this is, I would say, I know we've had a lot of upsets the last few weeks, but I'm talking about going into the weekend. I'm more unsure about the spreads in this week's game than I have been in the last few weeks' games.
Yeah, I think we're going to get them all. I think we're going to get them all right. So I feel confident.
I think you're going to get Jacksonville 49ers wrong. I think Jacksonville's going to cover. I think San Francisco is going to win an ugly, gnarly game.
Can't wait till that game's off one of my TVs in the first 7 minutes. But that's it. That's it for our show today.
All right. Good stuff. This is Marcus's way of telling me to shut up. So I'm going to shut up. We will talk to you on Free Flowing Friday. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow just for fun. Anyway, he's at Marcus Mosher. I'm at Harrison NFL. We love you. Take care.